Morning, everybody. Welcome to our media availability for September 13th. Liberty football 2-0 after a 21-13 win at Troy. On Saturday, Liberty back at home this Saturday, 6 o'clock kick against Old Dominion. Coach Freeze, a couple of opening comments about the win down at Troy, then we'll get to some questions.
Yeah, I thought being a little shorthanded as we were, in particular the offensive line after, Bounds couldn't go, and then Powell got hurt too. It was we certainly we had to have some resilience there. But I really think Troy's got a solid defense. After watching the tape, I'm even more convinced of that. They're very athletic up front and, pose some problems for you there. Man, the truth of the game is there's a lot of positives. I mean, we can start with I don't know that I've ever coached a game. I don't think I have where, our defense was only on the field 47 plays. I think that's remarkable. We held the ball about 30 minutes, which is good. We didn't get the production that I felt like we should have offensively, points-wise. But we'll start with special teams. I thought, man, our punter and the coverage units were incredible. I thought our kickoff team, I thought Alex was really good there. I thought he was aggressive at swinging at the extra points, which was good. I thought our special teams played really solid, obviously, except for our protection on field goals and PATs, and we have to get that fixed. You got a chance. We've milked the clock to put the game away at 24-7 and come away giving them life because we do not protect. Now, we had 3 people out of position, some new guys that hadn't done it because of our injury situation, but that's no excuse. And we did not give great effort on that play, and that's disappointing. I mean, that is a critical play in the game. But other than that, I thought our special teams were really good. Defensively, 21 yards rushing, 4 of 8 possessions or 3 and out. Got a turnover. I really think it was 2. I thought that was a fumble that we stripped on the pass. Man, I thought our D-line really played well. I thought Henry Jabuzzi had his best game since he's been here, and really felt like our defense settled in after the first possession. Played really solid. We're good on third down. Obviously, if you're going over the whole truth, man, we can't. We got a chance to put it away at 4th and 2, and we give up an explosive play, and then we got a chance to put it away at 4th and 11, and so we were 0 for 2 on 4th down stops. So, we've got to improve that. But man, on the positives, what a heck of effort they gave on the goal line stand there to make them use their last time out and more clock before they eventually got it in. But it'd been nice to end it right there with our defense getting the stop. But thought they played really well. Offensively, again, I mentioned the time of possession. We outrushed them significantly, which teams that outrush the others, your percentage of winning the game goes way up. Second straight game with no turnovers. That's the number one priority for us offensively. And we didn't have any drops, and thought that we were 2 for 2 on 4th down conversions. So those are pretty critical downs for us that we were efficient on. Outside of that, we got to be better on third down, but we can't give up 5 sacks. We just can't do that, and we've got to find some answers and some things to help us out in that regard. I think we just an understanding of what needs to happen on a given play. I've got to do a better job, and I plan to this week. So, great thing is, man, we're 2-0. Chase the Line week is over, and we move on to Dream Chasers this week. And man, we got a team that I'm sure will be hungry to come into our place and take a shot at us. And we're beat up, and so we've got this next man up, and we got to get ready for a good Old Dominion team. Defensively, they give you a lot to look at. It's a lot of stuff. You've got they're creating triangles a lot of different places, and a lot of movement that we've got to prepare for, and so it'll be a challenge for us to do that with the young offensive lineman we're going to have to be playing. So 9, that defensive end is special. He may be the best player we've played this year. He's a heck of a player. So is 3, the linebacker. So they do a good job with their scheme and have really solid players there, and that they got a transfer from Minnesota that's really good too. So they play really hard on defense. You can tell they're really well coached on effort and scheme. That side of the ball. Offensively, a quarterback's another. He's a dual threat guy that they're a quarterback plus 1 run team, and that's hard to prepare for. Plus, he's got a solid arm also. O-line is enormous and very physical. So tight ends are solid players too. But they're a good team. Glad we're back at home. We need. The only thing I wish it was an early kick with us having to play Syracuse on next Friday night, so that we could get a little more rest, because that'll be a tough turnaround. But we're glad we're at home, and we'll have we need our crowd to show up, our students and our fans. It needs to be an advantage to play at home. So looking forward to it.
Thank you, Coach. We'll get to some questions. If you can, please use the raise hand option. We'll start with Damian Sordelette with the Lynchburg News in Advance.
Hugh, you mentioned having to play some young offensive linemen up front. You expect to maybe have Cooper, Damian, and Jonathan Graham back for Saturday?
Yeah, all of that's up in the air right now. It's kind of day to day, and so it's just day to day. I don't know. It's a little early in the week to tell.
As a follow-up question, I went back to your press conference from 2018 when you were with the first signing class, and you mentioned creating depth on the offensive line was a key for you to, especially at the FBS level. And now that you're a few cycles into recruiting, when you're having to play these young guys, are you happy that the depth you have been able to build, you can now turn to guys that you can trust and have the talent level to help this offense keep moving?
Yeah, and we're still developing that depth. We've got some people here. They just hadn't played a lot of snaps because of the guys that have been here. Unfortunately, all the guys that may be out and were out are guys with great experience. So you're just playing young guys, and but the good thing is we'll get to get them some more reps in practice this week, because I know that some of these kids aren't going to be prepared to practice. Not that they can't play in the game, but so we'll get them some more reps. But absolutely, we're glad we've got some younger guys that we think have potential to be solid players.
Next up, we'll go to John Manson with a C Red.
Coach, you mentioned Henry Chibuzi and his play Saturday night. And when you first got here, he was maybe a little overweight, out of shape, and kind of buried on that depth chart on the offensive line with the practice squad and everything. What's been key for him to make this adjustment in such a short time, and making the move to defensive line? And now, you could make a case that he's maybe been your most productive interior defensive lineman through these first 2 games.
Yeah, and I don't mean this in any way, but just what it was. To say he was a little overweight it was a lot, and I was walking with him at the hotel the other day, and I actually asked him. I said, "Man, tell me about your just what has changed since we all got here and started this journey?" And he just said, "Man, my whole lifestyle's changed. From nutrition to the way I see things to the way I work." And that's rewarding to hear those things, and then it's doubly rewarding to hear him say those things, but then also to have the type of game that he had, and I think he'll continue to have. So I thought it started with him buying into, I want to make a change, and I'm going to trust someone to help me do that. And so you got to give a lot of credit to Danielle and to Dom and their staff. and Josh, for bringing him along to this point.
Next up, we'll go to Ed Lane with the Virginia Talk Radio Network.
Hugh, Malik Willis gave himself, I think, like a C or a C plus for his grade on Saturday. Your assessment, having had a chance to not only review the film of Malik in terms of his individual play, but also how Malik handled the offense and especially all the changes on the offensive line, keeping, it seems like, that unit in control for much of the game.
Number one, Malik was the best player on the field, and that's largely one of the reasons that we won the game. Two, I would agree that it was a C after watching the film. He missed some opportunities that, and I'm not talking about when he was under distress. We've got to protect him better. That's number one for our O-line. We've got to protect our quarterback, and I think had we protected him, he makes some more plays. But even there were some in our RPO game that we're running run plays into some bad looks that should not have been run, and his drops got a little sloppy a time or two that maybe caused some pressure quicker than it should have happened. So I think with those things, that's probably being hard on him. But again, I mean, he was the best player on the field, and we certainly he made plays when we needed him to, and he made some heck of throws too now. But he's pretty hard on himself, and I think we are too. We need him to, we want him to grade out 90% or better in his decision making, and it was down in the low 80s. And just a few plays in a game like that, when you're really trying to control the clock and the tempo, just a few plays make huge difference. Now, I give myself a C too, and I made 3 calls in a game that I just typically I see and I don't make, and one of them I saw, and I was so mad at myself at halftime. I saw it, and and I just I let us run it with. And that's just that's unacceptable, and I can't do that again. And that was a chance we could have gone up 21 there at the half. We had a pretty good drive going, and the play was a -6 yards. So it's not just Malik that needs to improve.
Go ahead, John.
You mentioned some of the O-line guys. What about Darrell and Zachary, their status moving forward, and Haskins and Lofton? Do you think you might be able to get them back this week?
It's the same on all of those. I couldn't get to any clarity from our training staff on, they feel better about some than they do others, but they're still not telling you that, you're going to have them on Saturday. Hopefully of this, and you can add Will Buchanan to the offensive line also. Something's going on with him too. And so it's, we're just, it'll be day to day. I don't know. I mean, you would hope out of those, I guess we're up to around 9 or 10 right now, that you would hope that you'd get a few of those back for Saturday. But I really don't know the answer to that today.
Next, we'll go to Emily Austin with Flame Central.
Hey, Coach. This was the first game that you guys have been on the road with, no limits on the fans because of the COVID-19 protocols from last season. Can you just talk about how you think your guys handled that adversity in that type of environment, and how much of a home advantage you guys do have when you play at Williams Stadium?
Yeah, I love playing at home. I hope it's difficult and loud and distracting for the opponent. I thought our kids handled it well, and we had their student section right on top of us. That sideline was really tight, and they had some quite choice words for me. They were not always really kind. That was, but I've heard it before. So but it was. I thought our kids and staff handled that fine. I don't think that was an issue for us. at all. And there's something about winning in those environments that's rewarding and can unite you. And it's good to. I told our team, winning at home is we have to defend our home, and it's got to be something special about that. But there's also, when you do go into places and win on the road, like at Virginia Tech last year, or Syracuse, or at Troy so far this year, I think it kind of there's a special uniting feeling. So it was good to do that. Glad to see college football back to somewhat normalcy.
Damian, go ahead.
Hugh, Bryce Matthews, I think, got his most extensive playing time at right tackle, and he had you mentioned he had that knee injury against Campbell. And how do you think he fared, and what type of veteran leadership does he bring, even though he's only been with the program for a little bit more than a year?
Yeah, I mean, heck, we're down Cooper, then down John, and Bryce is not 100%, and I think the thing he brings is just toughness, toughness and an experience, and he was not at full speed, and man, he really gutted it out for us, because Will was the next guy, and he's got something going on with his lower back, and so it was really, really happy Bryce. He's a tough kid.
And as a follow-up, how are you guys planning on working the offensive line this week? Are you moving guys to different positions just to make sure you have the depth there?
Yeah, we just finished up with practice and film and stuff this morning, so offense to get together right here after lunch, and we'll start trying to piece the puzzles together.
Emily, do you have a follow-up?
Might move Henry back over there. Just playing.
Oh, no, sorry.
Just playing.
Go ahead, John.
This is your first time playing Old Dominion since you've been at Liberty. Obviously as a coach and as a team, you want to win every one, and every game is important. But playing a team that's an in-state FBS, supposed rival, does this one mean a little bit more, from a recruiting standpoint, particularly?
I don't know. I think every win helps you in recruiting. Certainly in-state is you want to be able to beat them on an in-state kid. So yes, I would say I don't know that it means maybe more to that Virginia kid. I don't know. I hadn't had enough experience, I guess, with that yet. But as far as I think winning at home, and it's all going to benefit you in recruiting, whether it's Old Dominion or whether it's Troy. You're playing at home. So. But yeah, I would think probably in some of the Virginia kids' eyes, maybe if it came head to head with us and them for a kid, that it could help lean it our way.
All right, time for one, maybe two more. Damian, go ahead.
You mentioned a lot about Old Dominion, but the running game has actually been relatively productive through 2 weeks, and we've seen two guys rush for 100+ against Hampton. They had two guys against Wake Forest crack I think 60, 70 yards. And what have you seen out of their running game that concerns you?
Yeah, an enormous offensive line that's physical, and they cover you up, and then they run all the power counter reads and quarterback +1 runs that are creating extra gaps. So it's they have a really, really good scheme for a run game.